In today's breaking news, if you need any further proof that the global financial order is about to change, that everything was already pre-planned, the XRP will be worth thousands of dollars. Well, look no further, because we have this groundbreaking announcement here from Chad Steingraber and the BRICS News. Breaking: President Putin says Russia is ready to resume dialogue with the United States under a new administration. This is an absolute bombshell. Russia is ready to be back on collaborative terms with the US. With the new rails of the world coming online, the US will plug into the level playing field of digital currencies, a global financial order. This is huge, and see, that's the fact that I feel like many people either choose to ignore or just simply don't understand right now. The finance sector is heavily political, and this also includes crypto, maybe less so right now, but this dynamic is shifting and becoming that much more apparent. For example, we have here from Fox Business journalist Elena Territ-New. Verily, Obama's Solicitor General, who was in office during the original Operation Choke Point, and Clement, Bush's Solicitor General, have clashed over a number of Supreme Court cases over the year, but the pair have come together to support Custodia Bank and the crypto industry by extension in the case against the Federal Reserve. This is yet another indication of the changing political landscape around crypto is gaining more bipartisan support heading into the November election. This is massive news. So seemingly, should Trump win the election, we could see a collaboration between the United States and the BRICS nations. And considering the fragile nature of the financial system right now, you can bet your house that they'll be discussing what's next. This may just be that final link needed to confirm XRP will be used as a bridge currency for CBDCs, the next world reserve currency, to be worth thousands of dollars, to be that connection, to help keep the connection between the BRICS and the US to create a level playing field. And how will they do this? Well, thanks to the help of the BIS and of course Ripple with Project Enbridge. If a level playing field does happen, which is now looking much more likely, it means that the traditional role of the central banks will be almost irrelevant, because all banks, even the smallest ones, will have instant global access, instant global liquidity pools, the level playing field. Listen closely to this interview.
So when transactions are being undertaken traditionally, they ultimately have to be settled through central bank to central bank messaging, whereby the ledgers in both of those banks are adjusted accordingly, where the ledger in one central bank is added to and the ledger in the counterparty bank is subtracted from. This process is quite clunky. It is quite slow and is quite expensive. The principal ways that this process has been implemented in recent times has been through what everyone knows as the SWIFT messaging platform. And that enables participating banks to communicate with each other, to send secure messages in accordance with a standard format so that they, in effect, can understand what the instructions are from the other side. This process can take many days for the ledgers to be adjusted, and the fees and charges that are incurred in this process are quite high. So we've got a problem of cost and time. Now, those problems, of course, pre-existed the more recent set of problems. And those recent set of problems have gone to how this particular set of institutions has become weaponized. By weaponized, I mean that they have now become part of a process through which one particular party in particular, namely the United States, has been able to cause the operators of SWIFT to exclude the banks from certain countries or specific banks from being able to exchange messages with others. In other words, kick them out of the key information sharing arrangements that enable cross-border payments to work. Enbridge begins to tackle all of these issues. So the way that Enbridge does it is that it does it with a distributed ledger or a blockchain. The blockchain architecture is established in two basic layers. The first layer is a layer in which the participating central banks operate nodes, their own computers, which maintain a copy of the ledger. And those nodes also have the authority to be part of the consensus mechanism, which is the way in which this shared ledger is updated. The second layer of this architecture is the layer of the participating commercial banks. Now, those commercial banks also have nodes, and those nodes have a copy of the same ledger. The difference is that the commercial banks don't have the authority to participate in the ledger updates directly. So only the participating central banks actually have the authority to participate in the consensus mechanism that finally settles what the updates are. This distributed infrastructure enables the contemporaneous updating of all accounts. So now we've solved the time problem, because instead of having to wait for messages to be moved from one party to the other and for updates to ledgers to be made, they are made at the same time. In being able to make them at the same time, we also reduce costs. And importantly, because it's a distributed ledger where all the participating central banks are members of the consensus mechanism, no single bank can censor or block or amend transactions. That's the basic design, if you will, and the operations of mBridge to date.
We've determined that the mCBDC and mBridge are the standards, but are you aware that the BRICS Pay can potentially integrate with mBridge, allowing for the BRICS nations to move their jurisdictional CBDCs into a common currency known as an mCBDC? And as we can see from Binance Square screenshot here from Mr. Man XRP Global Reach, with the BRICS nations collectively representing a significant portion of the global population and economy, Ripple's involvement could drastically expand its reach and adoption. And this is a strategic advantage. Integration with BRICS Pay would position Ripple at the forefront of global digital payments, potentially leading to an increased use of XRP. The writing is on the wall. The BRICS will use Ripple and XRP, increasing its use case and therefore soon increasing XRP's price. And this looming collaboration with the United States of all countries with the BRICS is massive news, which could further expand Ripple's use case and adoption, especially considering Ripple and XRP are about to be greenlighted for mass adoption in the United States, as the settlement deal is looming and the final judgment in the lawsuit is just around the corner. This collaboration between America and the BRICS nation is crucial and important for America as well, considering the BRICS now control 60% of the world's integration lands and fish supply, and currently the West, especially the USA and EU, control global commodity prices, but soon this will change, shifting the balance of power. Because the BRICS are continuing to expand their adoption and their alliance, 40 more countries have openly admitted their desire to join the BRICS nation and their alliance, and of course Ripple are deeply connected and ingrained into the current members of the BRICS nations already. For example, in this post here from Chad Steingaber again, Ripple and PayPal access the Middle East through the Qatar Region Bank and the Al Ansari Exchange, the UAE, the BRICS nations, and of course XRP. And these new eminent members that will be joining the BRICS nation will only further help XRP's adoption in the future. You cannot tell me now, you cannot convince me that XRP's takeover wasn't pre-planned. And the same can be said for the current state of the crypto market, the crypto landscape, the massive correction, crash, the bleeding that is ongoing. But remember to not look short term and think long term. Understand that this is where fortunes are made. It's when you buy the fear. This is the current timeline we are in the crypto market. We are in the bear trap phase. Institutions got involved and everyone thought, oh, 100k Bitcoin will be easy to happen very quickly. People have already forgotten that we got a new all-time high at 73k with Bitcoin during the early stage of the bull cycle, which is insane. Not at the end of Q4 2025 when the end of the bull run happens, at the beginning. That's a very big deal. But now crypto is bleeding and people are panicking and they think that institutions are just flooding it all and trying to trick us all and killing Bitcoin and killing crypto. But you couldn't be more wrong. This was pre-planned as well. This is still going to be, in my opinion, the most explosive bull market you will ever witness. Crypto is far from dead. Pay attention and don't mess up this opportunity. Because today, Visa just partnered with Tangent to integrate crypto wallets for secure payments, and people really think that crypto is dead. You really couldn't be more wrong. If you can't stomach a pullback or even a further drop in price, then just sell. You don't need to be in crypto. But zoom out, understand that market is still in infancy. It's still very, very early. And also keep in mind, Visa, they are in partnership with Ripple, which is again why I'm stating to you time and time again that XRP's takeover was all pre-planned. The BRICS and the US collaboration is just another piece to the puzzle, but XRP will be used as a bridging currency all around the world. We can hear in this post from Subjective Views an interview with Daniel Hurst, Head of Product and Services for Enterprise Payments EMEA at the FIS Global, discussing the rollout of instant payments such as Ripple. Take a listen.
We've looked at some of the impacts, the major impacts of instant payments and the challenges as well. Looking forwards, what do you see as the major changes that we should expect within the payment landscape?
Yes. Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, let's baseline the real time. You see, there's a transformation about to happen in real time, but let's say we're well through that now. So where does it go next? And we make all this investment in real time, so we should now jolly well make sure we make some benefit out of that. So I think it's the business overlay services really start coming to the fore. You see that with things like request to pay. I see two great examples of request to pay, one for corporations collecting their money, automating invoicing and asking people to pay and being a lot more proactive and streamlined in that area. And very much seeing the next stage of open banking against real time, where you begin to see the shift of card transactions and people getting a lot more comfortable at doing account to account in a frictionless way. So it just shows more and more volume going down these rails. So you begin to see the business overlay services. And I think the point I'm really looking forward to, because I work with so many corporate banks, so many in that transaction banking space, is the improvements that can come through sending your sterling transaction to dollars or to Mexican peso or whatever it might be. And it's somewhat inefficient at the moment, of course. It's lots of interbanks involved, long settlement cycles, liquidity issues, costly processes. But we're already seeing the CSMs of Europe team up with the CSMs in the US to provide a link, the real-time SEPA instant link to TCH, link to FedNow. And straight away then, through the touch of a button, it should be, a payment goes from here over to there far more efficiently, solving that liquidity issue, because the liquidity is instant as well. And I can see banks really begin to step into that area, link, a spider web of real time. And the benefits of that should be extreme for banks, for consumers, for retail, for corporates. And that's pretty exciting. We saw a few years back the emergence of Ripple, all the great work they were doing with blockchain processes to really bring efficiency to cross-border. I believe that comes again. So you're going to see the emergence of real-time rails, the emergence of more blockchain digital currencies, and it's going to be fascinating how those things come together.
Again, a massive deal. So don't be emotional, don't let fear win, don't let the FUD take over your life. Do your own research and don't look short term. Think long term. And I'll see you in the next one.